So a couple of things real quick before I get a call from my brother or the woman that I love again. I was talking to my brother and I was telling him, he was talking to me about this lady he was talking to, and she didn't think that, they'll be a good fit because they don't believe the same things and all this other stuff. And he was like, she's like you, she likes Lecrae. And my brother's not necessarily a Christian, my second brother, not the youngest. But, and I was basically, cut a long story short, I said that my observation is that a lot of people that like people like Lecrae and these other Christian artists, they wouldn't really like them in person when they found out that these people are human just like them. And the reason they wouldn't, because a lot of times, myself included in the past, we virtue signal with other people's virtues. Oh, you're a Christian? Oh, I'm a Christian. Oh, you like Christian music? Oh, you do Christian music? Oh, I like your music. But then let this person speak on Black lives or political views and all this other stuff, and then all of that goes out the window, because at the end of the day, we don't like the person, we just like the fact that it appears like these people agree with us. And so we virtue signal because we want to glory in these people's flesh, and it's not cool. And people that are notorious for doing it are the people in church. Now, it's done everywhere because you can do the same thing with politics and all this other stuff, but my running context is always the church. And I just wanted to bring light to the fact that we be doing that. We virtue signal with things. Like, I think that if Jesus came here, and I've heard this statement before, we say we love Jesus, but I think that if Jesus came here right now, we wouldn't like him nor be able to recognize him, because ultimately at the end of the day, we're about us. We're not about others typically. And so we virtue signal. We go to church, we listen to this kind of music and that kind of music because we think that in some way it makes us better than what we actually are. And so that when we see the bad side of people that we admire, we're reminded of our humanness, and we tend to shun away from those people because they remind us of who we are. And I literally think that we do the same thing with Jesus. Even though Jesus is absolutely perfect and he came to die for us, I think that a lot of times that's why we can't preach the gospel like it needs to be preached, because Jesus is absolute, unadulterated truth. He's absolute, unadulterated truth. The gospel is that God, who knew no sin, became sin for us and died upon our cross for us. Like, that's the gospel. And I think that we would shun Jesus if we really saw him, because he reminds us of ourselves, just like we would shun other people. We virtue signal with people, and we don't really truly get to know people. So then you got a conversation like my brother had with this girl where she's like, oh, I'm trying to do this and that, and we don't align. And I'm all for being equally yoked and everything like that. So don't hear what I'm not saying. All I'm saying is that everybody virtue signals, and religious people are super bad for it. And I watched this video today that was shared on Lecrae's page, and he was just like, basically this lady, she was like, I'm comfortable with my afro now, and there's other things that I did for other people, my tattoos, the way I had my cleavage out and everything. There's a lot of stuff that I did for other people and not for me. And I literally think that that's a typical Christian. You don't do certain things because you actually believe it and are convicted in it. You do certain other things because you want to be liked by the said community. And community is important, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But at the end of the day, what are you doing because you haven't been forced into a conviction? There's a lot of people that are doing a lot of things just because they want to be liked by everybody else, but it's not their actual true conviction. We virtue signal. A note on community, all right? When people have critique about the church, they're critiquing the circus that is a church program. Even with T.I. and the comments that he made about the church service. Whenever somebody critiques church, just pay attention to what they say, and you'll know that they're talking about a program or an event more than they're talking about a community. Church, at the end of the day, is a community. It's a community of people. And you can call it work, you can call it a club, or whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, church is a community of people. It's not an event, right? So just understand that when people make a comment about church specifically, just key in your ear to the fact that they're talking about an event. And in this day and age, Church is a circus, and I'm not talking about the community of people. I'm talking about the service aspect. It's a circus. It's a circus full of animalistic people that come together on a given day throughout the week and try to flesh out an event that oftentimes is chaotic. That's what people don't like. That's what people are making critiques about. I don't care, T.I. or whoever else could say whatever they want about the church, but at the end of the day, we can't get away from our social construct. We can't. We literally were born into community, all of us. So you can say whatever you want about the church, but at the end of the day, you got people that you hang around. You have a family or whatever the case may be. That is church. And that is something that you cannot get away with. They got the Church of Satan, Church of Jesus Christ. You got the church of your work, the church of your club, the church of your comedy club, whatever the case may be. Now I'm going to leave you with this. Jesus said that upon this rock I will build my church and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. The church that Jesus builds, the community that Jesus builds is built off of the revelation of who he is. So a lot of people that have these critiques about church, you're critiquing an event. You have no idea about what an actual church is. And you think you do because you go to a certain place at a certain time on a certain day that's not governed by Jesus himself. Jesus isn't a governor over an event. He's a governor over a body. And if an event happens amongst the people that he is over, as far as his church goes, then well. But the church is a community. It's not an event. But just understanding when people are critiquing the church, a lot of times they are critiquing an overall event and the event held by people that haven't been built by Jesus. Said a lot in this video. Never mean for it to be too long. I can go. I really wish I could have more conversations like these where people would engage more than just under 10 minutes. But it is what it is. But just wanted to say those couple things, put that out into the web and the socials and whatever, and generate conversations, generate you to think, and generate you to change. You know, it happens one at a time, but then when we all get together, it makes for a better community, better church. But people critiquing the church, a lot of times it's an event, and that's what people are over. Events that are held by people that don't even have a revelation, a proper revelation of Jesus Christ. People are over that, if you haven't noticed. So my advice to you is that you keep it Jesus. If your heart is really there. If it's not, then you're going to keep on doing what you're going to do, and you're going to keep on having the same results that you're going to have, and you're never going to get on this happening that's happening in the world, because it's happening. People are more interested in Jesus than they are sermon series and their favorite pastors and all this other stuff. And people are mad, and that's okay. They're going to stay mad. They're going to do what they're going to do. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Grace and peace. Y'all have a great day. And yeah, that's all I got.